Hello and welcome to this 3D World magazine tutorial. My name is Eric Keller. This is just a short question and answer regarding particles and fluids. The question that is presented is how can you create smoky trails for missiles or rockets that have been instanced to a particle. And there's actually several ways to do this, but one way I like to do it is just use a fluid object. In my 2011, they added the ability to emit fluids from end particles, and this is really a great feature because it allows you to create much more convincing trails without having to deal with trying to create the effect using particles. So in my rocket's start scene, what I have is a basic particle simulation, a little cardboard box made from polygons. The idea here is that somehow these bottle rockets or whatever have been accidentally ignited, and they're flying out of the box at a rapid rate and flying all around the area, causing great chaos. So what I have is just a simple end particles, and they're just flying out of the box here, and you can see they're just spinning around. And they're spinning around inside a volume axis field, which I have set up. And for the volume axis field, I have turned on trap inside. So let's see, take a look at this. I have the magnitude set to 25. I've turned on trap inside, and I also have some turbulence set to 2, turbulence speed, turbulence frequency of 6. And the reason that I had trap inside is turned on is just so I can keep the particles within a defined area, so that the fluid, when I add the fluid trails, it doesn't go on off into infinite space, making it a really slow simulation. This sort of restricts it within a given area. And I also have a little bit of radial motion to the field as well, so that the end particles kind of swarm around in one direction. It's a little bit subtle. The turbulence is a bit stronger, so for the most part they just fly around randomly. So once I have this set up, I'm going to actually instance my rocket geometry, which you can see is down here below the cardboard box. There's my rocket geometry, and you see it's pointing along the z-axis, which will help me make sure that they fly in the correct direction. So I'm going to select the rocket in the outliner, and Command or Control select the nucleus, Command or Control select particle 1, and I'll just go in the End Dynamics menu set. I'll choose End Particles Instancer, and this instances the rockets to the particles, but you can see they're pointing the wrong direction. So I'm going to do a couple quick changes. I'm going to switch to the attribute editor for the End Particle 1 tab. I already have a lot of settings prepared already, but the most important thing to get the particles to point the right direction is just to go down to the Instancer Geometry Replacement tab and set aim direction to velocity, and now they'll be pointing in the right direction. So you can see now they're flying around the right direction, so that's all good. And then the other thing I like to do is just take the opacity of the end particle and set it to 0, so you can't see the end particle. Sometimes if you just turn the visibility of the end particle off, it actually affects the simulation. So I find turning opacity down to 0 is the best way to get them to disappear without disturbing the simulation itself. So we play the simulation, you can see here are rockets flying out of the box and everything looks good. So now to add our smoky trails. That's pretty easy to do. First thing I need to do is switch to the Dynamics menu set, regular Dynamics, and choose Fluid, Create 3D Container, and there's the 3D container. And I don't need to mess with the position or the size because I'm going to take care of that with the Auto Resize feature. So go to the Attribute Editor for the fluid shape, and I'm going to go down to the Auto Resize settings and just turn on Auto Resize. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'll leave the base resolution to 10 for now just to keep it nice and fast, but later on I'll increase that. So if you notice, if I play the simulation, I don't really see any fluids just yet. They're very, very faint. So if you want to see how the fluids look quickly, you can go down under Contents, Details, and Density, set the density scale to something like 6, and now you can sort of see how the trails look. And then under Fluid Emitter, I like to make sure that Motion Streak is on. That allows me to have nice, clear trails when I play. Pull out a little bit. You start to see the trails there, very faint. So at this point, it's just a matter of tweaking the fluid until you get something that looks like a nice smoky trail. But I'll show you a quick shortcut to get started, because otherwise it ends up being an awful lot of fiddling around with dials and that kind of thing. So what I like to do is go to Windows, General Editors, Visor, and I'm going to go under Fluid Examples, under Smoke. Let's take a look here. Well, maybe we should go to Space, Meteor Auto Resize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this preset into Maya and sort of steal the settings from it. So I'll just right click on this and choose Import Maya File Meteor Auto Resize. And I'll close the visor. You can see that there is another fluid container in here with various settings. So if I play this, you're going to see there's my meteor in the middle. It has nothing to do with the rockets at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the fluid container for the Meteor Auto Resize. Let me make sure I got the right one. There's my fluid container. And I'm going to select Fuel Burn Shape and just do presets, save fluid shape preset, and I'll just call this something like Meteor Example. Save that. Now I'm going to select my rockets and choose Presets, Meteor Example, Replace. And that replaces the rockets with the meteor. And if I play, you can see now the rockets have a nice glowing trail and a smoky trail coming out of there. So now I have that. I can examine this a little bit more. Let's just get rid of it for now. Get rid of the camera that it also imported. You can see this has very nice effects applied to it already. So let's do a quick play blast and see how that looks. Okay, so if I play back the play blast, everything starts out fine, but then you can see we have a problem. And basically what's going on is we have so much smoke coming out of the rockets that we're reaching our max resolution on the auto resize. So the fluid container can't get any larger. So we can easily fix that. Let me stop this real quick. Also, I think it's just too much smoke for our little rockets. So let's see about adjusting that. Select our fluid shape. And first thing I'm going to do is go down to the auto resize settings and increase the max resolution. Just put it up to something like 800. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I want the smoke to sort of go away and not persist indefinitely. So I'm going to go down to Contents, Details, set the dissipation, see what this looks like. Set it up to 5. Zoom in and play it. So now you see the trails are starting to fade out. I'm actually going to increase dissipation even a little bit more. Set this to 6. Pause this recording and create another play blast. Okay, so this took a while to calculate, but the result is pretty good. So you can see we have nice fiery trails coming out of our rockets.
So this is a good starting place for creating a really interesting and fun effect.